The deep basic motive of all our actions is to experience the life force, our real self, to feel complete and whole. How far are we from this point, and how do we get back to it? In pre-digital times, our attention was spent in daydreams, desires, fears, or regrets, thoughts, and mental imaginings. We lived in a mind-made identity, lost in thought about who and what we are. We have moved further from our real self by being tapped into an even greater illusion than our own thoughts and imagination. We have given up control of what enters our minds, allowing, almost without exception, anything to form our reality. Our devices capture our attention as we slip into an illusion within an illusion. Our perceived reality becomes what we see on the screen. If we go a step beyond that and put on a headset, we can experience being a king welcomed by his adoring subjects, or death all around us in a war zone, while the actual reality of where we are could be a concrete cell, a featureless concrete cell with a digital input. It is, literally, a mind within a mind. The more our mind is controlled by someone else or something else, the weaker we become, and the more vulnerable we become, and the more we crave it. It is an addiction to an empty illusion. There is a way out of this. Step back from the data stream pouring in. Reclaim your life. It still exists outside of your device. Stop for a moment and look around you. It is more real. The electronic drug addiction can be stopped. The result is we start feeling better and stronger, as does anybody escaping from an addiction. Free from addiction, our attention is still not in the here and now, experiencing what we actually are and where we actually are. We are still in the so-called normal experience. We live in a mind-made identity of being this or that, trying to become something we're not, stressing and striving, suffering imaginary fears, all in our imagination. But here, our imagination has less control over us than the digital directed illusion. We can, with an active will, escape it. The difference between our imagined self and our real self can be consciously experienced with a still mind, free from out-of-control imaginings and without drifting into the past or future. This is not so ungrounded and esoteric as it sounds. It is just being still and present, having control of our attention. It is an ancient practice. Experiencing our inner being in the only moment and place that it exists, here and now, is the reality of life and the reality of our being, which is the same thing in the end. The first step is to return from the consciousness-absorbing digital world to natural stimulation, the world of books and friends and walks in the countryside. There is a huge amount of beauty and joy in life and in real friendship. And from here, withdrawing our attention inside of us to experiencing the reality of who we really are. This is the experience we unknowingly crave in everything we do. From here, we can use the mind and the digital world without being absorbed into them. In the world, but not of it, as the saying goes. Awareness with a still mind and a consciously directed attention has us in a state of peace and clarity.